Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. On behalf of the City of Laredo, we appreciate your time and participation in this town hall meeting. My name is Amanda Proneda, and I'm a Business Development Administrator for the City of Laredo Economic Development Department. This town hall meeting is intended, or the town hall is intended to be a listening session. While we shared some background information, our primary goal is to hear directly from the downtown community regarding vacant buildings, building conditions, and revitalization efforts. So we'll begin with a brief presentation to provide some context, and then we'll open the floor for comments and discussions. We also do have comment cards that are available this evening and may be used to provide written feedback, questions, or suggestions. We do encourage everyone to participate, whether through the public comments or by submitting a card. All feedback will be reviewed as the city continues this process. Thank you. So our first slide is, why are we here? So open conversations about vacant buildings in downtown, share why the city is reviewing a vacant building ordinance. We want to talk openly about safety concerns, building conditions, long-term vacancy, and opportunities for revitalization. So downtown voices do matter. Your experiences help guide this policy. And tonight is about a conversation, not about enforcement. So the objectives of the ordinance that was basically in place, I'll give a little bit background about the ordinance. In 2021, there was an ordinance regarding vacant building policies, right, or the registration of the vacant buildings. In September 2 of last year, 2025, Council acted to rescind the VBO ordinance adopted in 2021 with direction to reassess the approach and include input and feedback for stakeholders and downtown community members. This is the downtown boundary as per the ordinance that was presented back in 2021. So, vacant buildings, community safety and compliance impacts. So why vacancy matters: neglected and unsecured buildings can discourage investment and economic activity, create unsafe and unhealthy conditions, attract unauthorized activity, become more vulnerable to arson or vandalism. Long-term vacancy affects not just one property, but surrounding businesses and neighborhood. These concerns are often raised directly by community members. Why the registration matters. So the purpose of the registration, it helps the city identify buildings, locations, and ownership. It helps track occupancy status, maintain point of contact, monitor conditions over time. This allows the city to communicate early before any issue escalates. Registration is the management tool, and it's not basically for enforcement action by itself. Community and public safety. So community and public safety, it increases safety concerns, negative impacts on nearby properties and businesses. It creates community frustration and higher incidents of burglaries and related crimes in surrounding areas. Reduce visibility and activity when buildings remain inactive. We move along to the substandard structures. So clarifying the difference and substandard or dangerous buildings are addressed separately under City Code. These are buildings that pose a risk to health, safety, and physical well-being. It increased risk of disease, crimes, drugs, prostitution, social isolation, and poor mental health. Substandard housing is not just housing that is unattractive or outdated. So substandard structures to identify as substandard. Structures must be open, vacated, unsecure, and in many cases, dilapidated. The word I can never pronounce. Unfit for human habitation and hazard to public health and unsecured from entry. Unauthorized persons. The substandard structures also are broken open windows or doors, walls, not gated properties, unsecured, unlocked, not boarded, and high grass, tall weeds, overgrown trees. So this is the process that the city has when it comes to a building substandard process. The substandard process follows state laws and city ordinances. This includes inspections by certified staff, notice to the property owners, opportunity to respond, public hearing before the Building Standards Commission, and owners are also given time to repair, secure, or demolish when possible. This process ensures fairness and due process. This is an example of owner compliance. There's a picture of before the property was there, and then after. This was from this month actually. So yes, when owners engage and comply, buildings are repaired or removed, safety improves, neighborhood conditions improve, compliance leads to real visible change downtown, and basically this is the outcome for the picture that was there was the outcome for City Coldstream Church, or the City Coldstream Church. And this concludes the information that the city had provided with this presentation. I do want to thank you for participating and sharing your sharing any thoughts. If you have any, you have done it with public comments. As mentioned, tonight's feedback will help inform future discussions. And we welcome you for any questions. We'll open the floor if you guys have any questions or any comments or any ideas or suggestions that you want to share with the city.
No, I have a comment.
Yes, one more. Let me.
If I may.
Yes, sure. One more.
Hold on, sir. One moment.
Yeah, no problem.
Just one question. What is the penalty for a property owner who has a vacant building or a dilapidated structure? So regarding the vacant building ordinance and that section, so there was an ordinance that was adopted back in 2021. We tried to initiate this process last year, 2025. However, it was rescinded. So right now, at the moment, it's paused. It's paused. There hasn't been any movement forward, no enforcement or penalties regarding the vacant buildings. City Council did make an initiative or directive to reassess and reevaluate the ordinance with input from the community as well. So, as mentioned, right now, it's rescinded.
Hi, thank you. My name is Chris Linedecker. I've lived in the downtown area for the majority of my life. There's a few things I want to talk about today. I went before City Council in August to talk about city ordinances and the importance of keeping properties at least at minimum safe. What was talked about before now is what I believe to be an urgent matter. In November, 307 San Bernardo caught fire. That building, if you drive by it right now, still has no covers on it. You can walk into it, okay? Somebody could set a fire tonight. The problem with that is the buildings in the downtown area are wall to wall. So we are one fire away from a huge risk. There's no need to put firefighters at risk. There's no need to put community members at risk. We can do something about this. I don't believe that the ordinance that was rescinded should have ever been rescinded. I think it should have been enhanced. So I'm asking the city right now to do a safety blitz with the fire department, code, and building inspections, verify utilities are off where appropriate, make sure the buildings are secure, and have emergency abatements when hazards are found. There should be a short public report of what buildings were inspected, corrected, and remain. Further, the downtown area is of significant cultural importance to Laredo. From facade are not only property owners, they're community property and they're tied to our heritage. In the downtown overlay, we should be laying out a facade protection zone to make sure that no buildings get completely demolished and erased from our heritage. As far as the ordinance goes, what I'm asking for is nothing that's unprecedented. San Antonio has a chapter 12 that has a lot of these things in there. A written work plan from owners who have vacant buildings with 6-month updates. Minimum maintenance required maintenance thresholds, liability coverage or financial guarantees, anti-trespass requirement, and enforcement. City, if need be, allowing for cost recovery and liens for non-compliance and non-repayments. Thank you.
My name is Hilario Cavazos. My mother is the property owner downtown, properties on Salinas and Zaragoza, and have another building on Zaragoza and Santa Maria. They're locations for rent. 2 of them are occupied on Salinas and Zaragoza, and 2 are occupied on Santa Maria and Zaragoza. I understand it's important to do maintenance and to maintain your areas clean. But I would hope those of us that are trying to take care of our buildings that we're not trying, because we do try as property owners, and I'm representing my family or my mother. And also I'm going to comment on that property tax, that extra tax that is collected in Houston, Texas. We don't need another property tax. Business is bad enough as it is. Now that bill was filed because of the problems in Mexico, because of the cartels. I believe the state senator and the state rep filed those bills. What good does it do for that tax? And then you have Friedman saying, Larry Friedman, who sits on that board, and Justin, I believe Heather, who worked for Cliff Killen, that they're going to buy sweepers. Why can't the city take care of that with their budget? Why do we, as property owners, need an extra tax? Okay, business is bad. All right, and the city might say, well, it was done the right way. Question is, why is it being collected in Houston, Texas by a firm? Why can't Ms. Barrera collect it? And why another property tax? Taxes are high enough already with the city, Laredo Independent School District, and then with the county and Webb, but especially LISD in the city of Laredo. I don't think it's right. Those people were not duly elected, like the city councilman or the Webb County commissioners. Now they say they have a right. I don't think they do. That's all I have to say. Thank you, folks, for letting me speak my mind.
My concern was, it was kind of before coming here, but the example that you showed was a demolition. And given the economic and market conditions that downtown's been under, I just envision it turning into all the owners demolishing their buildings, doing nothing with them, at most parking lots. And that'll just further destroy, what we have. He's right, it's a heritage, it's our heritage, it is our community. And once we lose it, it's gonna be very hard to get back. And that's my comment.
Well, I just have a question. And I don't think that it's kind of hard to listen to this thing and then I move. I think I can speak loud enough. Has the city considered, knowing that downtown is kind of dead, very, very hard to rent and so forth, has the city considered in that downtown area to lower the taxes for people now that there's no, like even if we fix the place, who do you rent it to and so forth? Has there been any consideration? I've been away, but I came back to Laredo and I don't know if I missed out where the city, maybe there was something to lower the taxes for these people downtown, because it's not what it used to be. And I was suggesting to Mr. Valdez that the downtown has to be smaller, and like to divide it up so that you have a concise, like you do another city, a smaller downtowns to spread out. We need a government district, a downtown district, and then to give those people a break, because like you say, we really are not, the income is not coming in, even if you fix up your place, who do you rent it to? Like, who's gonna rent it after we fix it? I don't have a downtown property or anything, but I can see that if you fix up a place, then who are you gonna rent it to? Even if you make it real cute, what business is gonna come downtown? How are we gonna, that's our problem. We need to figure out something else to make the downtown profitable, right? Because if you can't bring it, you can't bring the past back, right? No, so, but is that a question for the city here? Have they considered lowering the tax for these people?
As far as I know, no.
No.
But it can be a consideration. I appreciate the
Exactly.
comments because we
There's
can
no
look.
income for these people.
Well,
That gives you tax abatement if you fix it up.
I think she's talking about lowering your taxes.
I know, but that would.
There's different programs out there that we have that qualify for this area.
Okay, because to me, if you're paying that high taxes for so long, when businesses was good. I had a store downtown, I had the mall and so forth, when you were making money, of course, right? But there's no customers, there's nothing, it's all, downtown is very few stores. I passed by yesterday, Joey's Novelty, thank God it's still open there, it's been around forever, but nobody else around. So all those buildings, you fix them up, and who's gonna be your tenant? Who's gonna rent it, right? Like, can you think of any business that's gonna come down to Laredo? That's our job to bring other businesses for these people to rent to. But so the main problem is that the taxes are high. They pay taxes as if they're making a ton of money. They're not. And then we make them fix up the place, which is wonderful. But then there's nobody to rent it to. I don't see it. Like I said, I don't have a store downtown. I come in, I look and I'm trying to figure out what would make Laredo, that area, stimulated again. And if anybody has ideas and so forth, right?
Thanks for your comments.
Thank you. And as mentioned, we do have in the neighborhood empowerment zone, that is a tax abatement program. When it comes to boundaries within the NSZ, and any property that's there can apply for the neighborhood empowerment zone. We do have the guidance in the front. That is a tax abatement program that helps you with renovating your property, whether commercial or residential.
So if a building is like unrentable, right? If the building is downtown, you know where I'm talking about, right? All the where niceness was, well, that one's has a store. All those buildings, there's every block has one. Remember Shulax? Anybody who knows downtown, right? Most of those buildings, they're vacant. They're all boarded up. The Crest building. I love my old Crest, but it's anyway. So they're empty, and I don't see how. You know, the rent. To me, that downtown area should all be flat out a lower rate for them, so that you can stimulate, you know, then you can rent it out cheaper, right? Bring in other kinds of people. I still know a lot of Oriental Asian people have businesses downtown, and they're still at it, so we can encourage, remember the Indian community that was here? They were all here, but they left. But to make some of those people come back, I think we can in some kind of different businesses, but it has to be lower. They have no place to go, right? We don't have any place, the downtown people, right? There's no, the people that I see here from the stores, they're paying the taxes and everything, but it's dead. There's no rent coming in. So if you don't have a rent coming in, you know, like,
We'll take it into consideration. I appreciate your
and
comments.
again, I don't have a downtown property. I don't have any skin in this thing. It's just, I want Laredo to, you know, I want that downtown to prosper.
Thank you. And then as mentioned before, this is a listening session. We do want to hear out from the downtown community, your suggestions, ideas. We are trying to put everything together and see what better outcome we can have for our downtown.
So in case, Jose Valdez, and then good evening, everyone. Just to let everyone know, in case you may feel bad, I don't think there's a lot of basketball people here, but in case you want to make a comment, we're going to have an online where you can email. We have some cards up front. I think they're over here somewhere. You can also make comments there, give them to us. So we're going to take into consideration. Again, this is just an open mic, getting a lot of good information, a lot of good ideas. And so we're going to consider all of this. We want to have another meeting with time. We're going to let everyone know. I know this was kind of rushed, but we want to get started with this. And so the idea is really with dealing with the vacant building ordinance. And so probably at the end of February, if not a little bit earlier, we'll have another one. Hopefully we'll have an ordinance in place where we're looking at it. Now we can look at the ordinance, get your feedback, get all the stakeholders' feedback in this. And so we want really a lot of your feedback. And so if you don't talk tonight, that's fine. We'll be around for a little while afterwards, and so we're more than willing to talk to you on any specific issue that you might have. It might not be a little bit related with that, but we're here to talk to you all, and so we'll come back and form something, an ordinance together, and we'll present it, and we'll talk to everyone again within a year, within a month, sorry.
Does the city have, like, just, I know the city manager is too much, the whole city, especially growing so fast, I can't believe Laredo, South Laredo, I haven't even gone to it, it's another city. So, but do you have a committee or somebody dedicated to the downtown? The downtown is a very special area, you know, where La Posada and all that, you know, in the outlet malls. Do we have somebody in the city dedicated to downtown, or is there a group, anything that has, I have ideas for downtown, or?
There's several groups on this content, I think,
Do you have a city
we'll
manager?
get you a list of all the groups that are downtown
That takes care of it, somebody that knows
and you can
downtown.
always, I guess, you'll have us, you reach out and we'll get you some contact information.
I have
Those
ideas
different
like
organizations,
the
different groups.
La
Mr.
Posada,
Valdez.
yeah.
Hi, I'm Lisa Figueroa, Councilmember for District 8. The question, the answer to your question is no, there's no dedicated city personnel for downtown, but there are dedicated group, organizations like the TERS for downtown, and then also the Business Improvement District that focus on downtown. But thank you, I just wanted to directly answer your question.
I have a question. What happened to the big people with the money like Saints and Gary Jacobs? I remember years back, they were all excited that we were gonna do this, the Seven Bandera, the Bandera, whatever place they had. What happened to them? Why did it die down? Nobody, that's what we need to find out. What happened? Why are we enthusiastic? Because we can do whatever we want to, but if we don't have the people downtown, we're not gonna do anything. Why did it go? I don't understand. They all had so many plans. What is only plans? We don't do anything. We've been to meetings like 20 years ago. Nothing happened. Nothing's happened.
I have just a comment, or a couple of comments. So I'm on the downtown first board, which is tax reinvestment group, right? So we focus on the capture that is captured from the zone. The tax capture goes back into projects in the downtown. I think it's very important. Staffing is very important. I think the city staff already knows my input because I've provided that to them. And I worked on the original ordinance, and I worked on the second draft as well and provided feedback. Really, my feedback hasn't really changed, and I think we need to be mindful of the property owners and do a better job we know there are compliance issues, building compliance issues, but I would be wary recommending and taking off with this ordinance. Keep in mind, it's 5 years in the making, overlaying compliance issues while you're starting a registry. And I would encourage the city to not add additional burdens beyond, there is already code enforcement that can be applied, is to not overlay this task of starting a registry, and then there's a second piece to this, with a compliance that pressures property owners even more. Because I think you're not going to get more compliance, you're going to get less maintenance, less care, because folks are not, it's not the right time to start that. So I would separate, and my push would be, and my proposal would be to everybody that's here, hopefully you think about it, is that the ordinance take off as the registry. As it's been proposed with whatever fees everybody agrees to are fair, but to not overlay too hard or much at all on the compliance side. Let that carry itself to code enforcement. There's a building code that can be enforced. The second piece, which is extremely important, is to staff the revitalization coordinator position. If the city does not do that, we will be unsuccessful for another bunches of years. And it's important that we dedicate some key staff, that the city take the leadership to dedicate the key staff to maintain the downtown, to lead by example, so that others can follow and so that property owners can do their part, right? So we need to clean up the downtown. The bid is to serve that purpose. I think more needs to be done to kind of talk about what the Business Improvement District expects to achieve so that you see some value as property owners. But it's important to not create distances between groups, because that's the tendency that I see. I've been sitting on this church board for a while, and I see people creating distances between groups. It's time to really coalesce and work together, because if we don't, we'll be here trying to enforce compliance on building code 5 years from now. Let's start the registry. Let's provide, if when somebody mentioned if I'm working on something, provide exemptions for people that are trying their best to fix up their property and work with them. In city, create the staff team to help. Maybe it's not forever, but at least for the next 3 to 5 years, fill those positions. The original ordinance called for the riding station coordinator position to be filled. It hasn't been filled. So fine, the city hasn't done it. We have an opportunity now to fill it. Let's do it. And let's not wait. How long do we need to build a team for the downtown? We should do it now. So those are my comments. They really haven't changed since I've been working on this a few years. Let's coalesce. Let's not create barriers between groups. That's not going to be fruitful.
I am Esther Fidova, property owner downtown, and I also work in the hotel industry in the downtown areas, so we can identify all the markets, the flows, the trends, and what was, what is not, and what probably will not be. But my biggest story here is we're still in the same boat. We did have a booming economy at once, and we were doing great, but when we were doing great, nobody touched anything. It was all on the owners because things were going great. But when things started going downhill, abandoned by the city, but the taxes still continued. And as it kept going further downhill, abandoned by the city, but the taxes still continued. Nothing went back to those that were suffering and those that had to make up for it and those that were losing money. But we were still downtown for the city. In fact, that was one of our main attractions in the hotel industry for tourism. We would encourage people to come downtown. That was our selling pitch. And our second selling pitch was, we're going to go to Nuevo Laredo. You're going to be walking distance. Imagine all the bargains you're going to get. What we got from the city was Convention and Visitors Bureau that helped us promote it at that time. That was great. But no other help came from the city when it all went downhill. So what is different now? What have we done? The mall was made, great mall. But if you would have asked feedback from the members, the residents, and those in that area, I guarantee you they would not have agreed to the construction. But it was a city decision, the funding and all that, but you left the key people out. The key people that could tell you, look, this is the attraction. This is what brings in the revenue. This is what brings in what we need in our city to have the retailers and the commercial people make money and pay the taxes. Those taxes haven't changed. But here's my thing. Why are we even thinking about increasing? Who came up with that bright idea? Come and sit down with us. Show you the numbers. And maybe what we should be talking about is decreasing. Let's get realistic. Where are we? How much are we paying? That hasn't gone down. So my thing is, can we just not waste time going to meetings? Because we're advisory committees, that's all we are. Because by the time the city looks at them, we're getting ready to go to another meeting and nothing has been done. So make our time valuable, our input, let it be worth it, and get back to us. We sit down and other members of other committees sit down. Maybe it might not be valuable to some people, 2 hours, 3 hours, we go home, we do our homework, we come back and we study it, and city didn't do anything about it. City still thinking about it. Well, could you do me a favor and tell us, what are you thinking? What are your questions? But it stays dormant. And guess what? Time passes by and it's ignored again. And here we go again another year later. How long have we been talking about a civic center?
20 years.
A convention center. We even bid it, we went, general fund is there. No, it's not there. Yes, it's being moved. No, we can't touch it. We're still talking about a convention center. The only thing is downtown is no longer available because downtown is not kept up to par. But let's talk about keeping it to par. So I went downtown and I went, thanks to a friend of mine who took me downtown, because I said, what is going on? The streets are so-called the city fixed. and I don't know what grant. Those streets are not fixed. It was an embarrassment. Oh, you did the brick so it could look pretty? Too bad the brick didn't last long enough. In fact, there were the dividers to the streets. Oh, they were thrown on the side. I wanted to get down and pick them up or bring my broom to move them out, because if I'm correct, I saw the utility trucks that passed by at night to correct the trash. Oh, they just went over that, or they knocked it down, or the street is missing half of the sidewalk. But we want people to go downtown because we want to tax you, property owner. You got to pay your taxes. And by the way, we're going to come out with some other rules that, yeah, sorry you're going through some hardship. Yeah, you're going to have to invest more money. No, if you talk about taxes like in Houston, which we don't compare to Houston, we shouldn't even be saying that. I mean, who are we? Why are we being compared to Houston? Why don't we compare ourselves to maybe something like McAllen? That's even closer. Talk about the traffic flow. Talk about the revenue. Talk about the support from the city, how much they spend. Let's compare apples to apples. And it's going to be very sad to learn that we're nowhere near. So what I ask is this, dear city, if you do have organizations, if you have the development organization, the tiers and all that, what are you doing with that information? Please respond to them and act in a valuable and reliable time frame. Don't put it in the back burner so something else is going to happen and now that is no longer there. Dear property owners, we're so sorry we haven't supported you, because that's what really should be said. Realistically, tourism is not here. So we're done. I mean, the cartel, etc., things that happen. Can we commit if you want to talk about cities? All right, let's talk about other cities. In Washington, talk about a city in Washington, Georgetown. You know what they did? The city came in and met with the property owners and said, what can we do to revitalize downtown? Not what can we ask you to do. What can we do to revitalize downtown? Then you partner. It's not, well, we're going to punish you because you're vacant, whether it's a family or a business. Sorry, but we've been taxpayers longer than many of you. So I think in owners of properties downtown that have lived it, we're going to ask, if you really want to care about the city, which I think everybody misses downtown, and we get told it's never going to be the same. Oh no, we know it's never going to be the same, but it doesn't have to be dead, and it doesn't have to look dirty, and it doesn't have to look neglected. And that's not talking about the properties, we're talking about the streets. So city, take the organizations that you've organized to spend time and efforts in showing goodwill. Reminds me of blue ribbon committees. They create them, but they don't honor them. So I'm going to ask you, please, before you make those decisions that go off because they're doing it in Houston, we're talking about Laredo, please give us that respect. Give us that time and give us the voice that we need to show you how you can make a difference if we join together. Thank you.
Thank you. There was one more comment on this side. So I've just been hearing a lot of feedback from business owners, and what I would like the city to do is to just reinforce the vacant building ordinance, because as a resident, I can just reiterate what my husband said, and I just think it's a public safety risk to go easy on businesses that aren't compliant and have vacant buildings. We had a fire recently, as my husband mentioned. It's a big fire risk, it's a big public safety risk, and I think it's important for, trying to find ways for the city to balance both the business interests, but also the residents of the downtown area.
I also think that before we do anything, we need to, my heart goes for the homeless. I'm sure everyone that in our families, we all have mentally ill, but we need to take them somewhere else. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we see people sleeping on the restrooms. Even we went to the city hall. The guard was there, and then 3 homeless were there. Nobody would pick them up. Barefooted, there was cold. we need to do something with it, and then we have to improve the city, the streets, you know. It's very, very, or keep them, I don't know, it's very hard to keep them somewhere, but we need to improve them.
Yeah. Anyone else?
After all this, in the city, I don't know if I'm loud enough, but I can't hear the microphone, we have too much of a background, and I can't hear. But I hope I can be heard here. Can the city, as a result of this meeting, assign somebody, have somebody from the city manager's office, assign somebody for downtown, so that we can discuss this and help us out? Because,
There is a position, but it's not funded, I think, at the levels that it should be, and so we're looking at that.
like to have
But
somebody-
part of all of this is the discussion that we're having.
Because the downtown is important, like she said, if we cannot let it die, it will be horrible, an eyesore, so for everybody concerned. And now I have a question, don't laugh, but all of these people here, I've been asking everybody a survey. How many of you in December have gone and shopped at the outlet malls? And how about coming to downtown? How many of you, I didn't turn around here, nobody, how many here has come downtown to do anything downtown? Nobody, right? I see something, but stores, is it, well, it's not stores. Hey, that's cheating. Anyway, but, so like, to start off, I wanted an opinion of, if what do we have here for the radio? Like, are they gonna go downtown, or we're gonna change what are we gonna do? If we improve downtown, and nobody from Laredo, they always go, I don't ever go downtown, right? Even in 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the response was always, I never go downtown, right? No parking, no whatever, like always. And so that has always been the Laredo downtown problem, right? We all know about it, right? The real downtown people that store downtown forever. So first of all, I would like the city, the representative here, I'm so glad, to give us somebody to work with us downtown and restore it. But I need in the city, talk about that, lowering a bit of the taxes, whatever needs to be done, have the city help us out, right? Help us downtown area. And I think that's what we're asking for, right? If the city puts in some help like that, whatever else we can think of, dividing up the city like we discussed it, and lowering just a bit, just not raising taxes. There's nothing, the poor people, I feel so sorry for them, there's no income, where are you gonna get their money, right? What is the idea, right? So, and if we get more ideas from people that are downtown, right, it will help us all out, yeah? So the city, at this meeting, I hope that will, the effect of the city, the result will be giving us somebody to work with. And I'm willing I'm old and whatever, but I'm still, and I don't have but I will, I think there's some of us here that are interested in helping out and at least getting a group together to do let's do something this time, not, like you said, meeting after meeting, but nothing gets done.
Thank you.
Joe, I would recommend, we hear a lot of questions, I haven't really heard any recommendations, but one of the recommendations I would say is if you do start the VBO, that any penalties or fines that go into it stay in the downtown area to help fund these types of projects, help clean the streets, fix the parks, those types of things. That is one recommendation I would do. I don't think that was in the other one. Because one of the big problems is that all your taxes go to a general fund. That general fund doesn't stay downtown. The business improvement district, the taxes that are being assessed today do go to downtown. They don't go to a general fund. So, and maybe the city can lower their city tax and you can pay the business improvement tax because that is dedicated to downtown. Those are the types of tools that now the city has to help or not the city, but the business improvement district has to help. Because, I mean, you guys got a lot of bills. You got a lot of things to do in the city. We got big fire departments, big city, big police departments. So those are tools that can be done. And, if there is a VBO, let's keep that money downtown so it stays here to help fund projects.
Thank you for those comments.
Yes, I just want a quick comment. I'm going to speak as fast as possible. My name is Josh Setner, property owner here, second generation. Born and raised in Laredo. Grew up downtown. Rollerblade, I rode my bikes throughout the entire downtown. Had a couple comments. I guess I'll touch base on the vacant buildings. I think there's probably more than 50 buildings. Could be probably a lot more. I think if the city wants something to be done with that, I think they need to, in a sense, lead by example. How many street corners don't have a ramp for handicapped people? I used to rent where Jet Sales used to be, on the corner. I think that is Lincoln and Salinas. Yeah. I've seen 3 elderly people fall before. How many people have been ran over in front of the bus station? The sidewalks have not been fixed besides Iturbide Street. And it's something that I think the city, if they want us to take care of our buildings and taxes and do all these things and don't board them up, well, security is really bad now, especially at night. My building has been broken into twice. One time, $8,000 worth of property was taken. The second time, over $12,000 worth of property was taken. And how did these people know? Well, if you grew up downtown, if you are downtown right now, you're going to see a lot of homeless out there, a lot of drug addicts. And sadly, the drug addicts, they will do anything for $5. And, downtown is where it is because I think there's a lack of city involvement. And that's my personal opinion. Sidewalks, like I said, they patch them up. I got to call 311s many, many times. There's cracks, people are tripping, people are stumbling. And yeah, they're going to sue the city, but they're also going to sue the property owner because that's right in front of us. I've seen it done before. So I think a recommendation would be lead by example, have more security, more at night, not just 2 bike patrollers, because that's not enough. Don't have any dead spots where from 5 to 6 a.m. there's nobody covering the shift. My understanding, there's no patrol at nights. The west side takes care of the downtown. And, well, these are going to know that information. They're going to catch on. And my glass has been broken just for the fun of it. So I just ask that the city can support us in that aspect. Stop putting so many rules. More security for the safety of the people. That's a common thing from the local shoppers. They don't feel safe there. It smells bad. There's people staring at them. Like I said, elderly people. There's a lot of elderly community. The Hamilton Hotel is an elderly place. They can't even walk with their walkers right in front of the Hamilton Hotel. Why? Because it's gravel and cement. And then they have those old air vents that don't even work anymore. Repair that. We just sold a property there to the city, and they haven't done anything, but they were very adamant that we sell them the property. And it's still there. And guess what? It looks abandoned. The city purchased it, hasn't done anything with it, but they're fixing this other hotel as fast as they can. But they don't want to fix the one that has broken glass. The roof is falling apart. But they want us to do what? We don't have the money. It's not 2005. It's not booming. Downtown, there's no shopping. The outlets, I was against because it made no sense. If any of you gone ever shopping to San Marcos for the outlets or Mercedes, how many of you go shopping in the city? No, you're spent out. So every buyer that comes from Mexico or from wherever they may come and they shop at the outlets, 5% or less might wander a block or 2 into the downtown. But the way the parking situation is set up, it's not going to force them to walk downtown. It's forcing them to walk away from downtown and get back on the exit. So thank you guys for your time. Thank you for holding this. Got to get to bed.
Good evening, everybody. I see a lot of familiar faces here, and I see your concerns. Vacant buildings, abandoned downtown, dirty streets, sidewalks that you can't walk safely. One of my questions is, are there any grants for renovation, government helping out? Lower tax rates, when business was booming I understand that government has a right to assess taxes, but on buildings that provide no revenue, I don't think it's fair and just to tax the property owners. There's no revenue. One of the things that we need to look at, I think, downtown, when I grew up as a child, was booming. It was fantastic to go downtown. McLennan's, Neisner's, Chris, and all the buildings there. And we used to go shopping at Gibson's for school supplies. But now we need to look at the changes in the market. Most buyers, Generation X and Generation Y, do not shop in stores, they shop online. And that's not only for US citizens, but also for Mexican citizens. We do not have the businesses, the buyers that we used to have before shopping in Laredo, especially during the George Washington celebration that we had what was it called? Pasada Libre. But times have changed. Times have changed. We have to look at the changes. The first change that I saw was Mall del Norte here in Laredo. And many people were buying there because the easy parking, no fees to park. But then now we see that, again, I emphasize this, many shoppers shop online. Not only US citizens, but also Mexican citizens. The young generation most of them do not like to go to stores. And we have to look at that also. We have the supply, but the demand is not there, as it used to be. As it used to be during the golden days of shopping downtown Laredo. Many of us can witness that. Many of us saw it. I used to shop as a kid and as a teenager downtown, but now I shop online. For me, it's easier. Thank you very much. There's no quiz for my former students that are here.
One of the things I'm hearing, and I'm wondering if every time if anything comes up via downtown for city council or any city discussions, it often seems like it's considered District 8, where it really should belong to all the districts. And on that front, I think it deserves a little more investment than some of the peripheral projects in some other districts that are built in the town. You see the city spend money on roadway expansions when there's no traffic in the area. They spend money on sports fields on the edge of town, not thinking, A, it's not accessible, but B, it doesn't pay back in the way that investing in, not just downtown, in our core city in general. And the city needs to focus more on that. I'm sure a lot of you see that. And so downtown is not just a District 8. It belongs to the city as a whole, and it's a cultural heritage.
I'd like to just refocus on the point of the meeting. The point of the meeting is about vacant buildings in the downtown area. If you are a business in the downtown area and you are trying your hardest to make it happen every day, day in, day out, you have your doors open, you're selling goods, you're trying your best. I'm a businessman. It's not easy. I know every business comes with inherent risk. Okay? What happened to the downtown area, a lot of it is forces that are so far outside of our control, right? Things that happen in Nuevo Laredo. Downtown was never the same after that. But what we're talking about in these vacant buildings, and what I'm talking about more specifically, is we're talking about vacant buildings that have been vacant for nearly a generation now. And I know because I've lived in the downtown area and I've seen these buildings empty. And a lot of these property owners that have been sitting on these buildings, maybe it's the same kind of discussion, but year after year, you can't necessarily just wait on the city for a bailout. There needs to be some kind of action with your property. You can't just sit on it year after year after year. Something needs to happen. And that is only possible through some kind of enforced ordinance by the city.
Anyone else want to make a comment?
My name is Brian Manning. I work for downtown property owner. I'm also on the board of the Laredo Cultural District. And there are a number of boards, groups, or activities that do things in the downtown area. And the support of those activities is paramount for change. And one of the interesting things that some of these groups have in common is that even though downtown has seemingly been abandoned by many aspects, there's less population, there's a change in age demographic, their shopping has decreased, I've heard that a lot. There is something happening in your downtown that is happening underneath some of the things that you're seeing. There is a vibrant art movement happening in downtown. There is activities that go on first Friday of every month. Caminarte makes downtown look like it could be something. And I just wanted to add some of this vision. I'm not a native Laredoan. I did live in the old city of Old San Juan in Puerto Rico. So I've seen old buildings put to incredible uses. But I want to leave you guys with not only some the negative comments or the criticisms, which are very necessary, but I want you guys to keep your eyes open for that underlying art movement. And a lot of this is youth-based. These are students that have come out of Tamayu's department, out of LC. They're looking for places, community that they can interact in that isn't just a bar or some other things that we would do when we were in those ages, right? But it's a community of art. It's a community that they can come together, they can express themselves, and they can grow. I think that is one of the aspects, if we could grab a foothold on some of that, it would help us bring back other aspects that are vacant right now in our vacant buildings in downtown.
Okay. That's what I talked to Mr. Valdez about earlier, about doing that. I lived in Durham for many years, and I just came here, and Durham was a dump downtown. And that's what they did. The old buildings, they did them into everybody, like little shop. It has to be something different. And the Plaza Theater, I'm so interested in it because in Durham, there was this very similar Plaza Theater type thing, and they fixed it enough so that they made it into a venue where kids, recitals and what, I know we have plenty of them, but it became a cultural center in Durham, and you have to look it up, Durham, North Carolina, and the same thing you're talking about, all these art people, this little restaurants, this other stuff, it became something different because again, Durham, downtown, nothing sold. The malls, you know how it is, nobody goes downtown, nobody shops, and I saw it with my own eyes, beautiful restaurants or whatever it became, again, in old buildings. Just like that whiskey thing, that's a bar, but I know, I'm surprised about the bars in Laredo, right? That's bringing a lot of income, right? Because I'm surprised about Iturbide. I still want to go downtown, only I go to bed too early to see who goes there. And it has a lot of, they stay alive, at least there's something. But that's what happened in Durham, the same thing he's talking about. It's another, we have to think of something else than just stores, because it's gone, right? And can we get a committee, another committee, can the city provide somebody to, maybe people here are interested enough to join and to do something this time? Like anything, start getting these ideas rolling and whatever, the division here, the lowering of taxes, what can the city do for us at this point? Or consult and come back to us or whatever?
Thank you very much for
And
those
go come in,
comments.
I know.
No. Does anybody else would like to make a comment? I think we want to be respectful of time.
Oh, that's right.
I
want to thank everybody for making the time to come here. I come here as a guest. My name is Ricardo Jaime. I represent the area on behalf of the county. I came into office 3 years ago. Lived in District 8 all of my life. I did frequent downtown when I was younger. Different stores with my mom. And when we transitioned, we got married downtown in San Agustin, the Posada. We come in, I want to go ahead and inform everybody that the county, I put an agenda item so the county can start participating in the city's taxing, the tax reinvestment zone. So we are pledging those monies that you guys are paying back into the downtown to boost up that initiative. Started attending to some issues that downtown has in regards with the county's interest. The Old Veterans Museum project is coming along. We just got the abatement for the lead that was discovered inside, and construction should start on February the 2nd. It's catty corner to the Siete Banderas building. I have an agenda item, not this Monday, but the next, to go ahead and move forward with a private company that is investing in downtown. And I think the city went ahead and approved the 380 agreement with them. We had an agenda item, I believe it was in November. We are bringing it back. There was some issues that we needed to go ahead and attend. It is up for discussion there. The concept, at least for me, is that you have a company that's taken a very aggressive position to invest in downtown. The idea is to go ahead and bring traffic flow. Once you have people living and working in downtown, when everything should come into place. I agree with the details on the sidewalks and the dirty streets. There was a colleague at Commissioner's Court that made that an issue. I'm a person that owned some businesses for more than 20 years. I think I attend to the details because I think the details matter. Working with Councilwoman Cigarroa, so we could go ahead and start working on the infrastructure for the railroad, I guess the noise abatement. It requires for us to go ahead and start working on the crossing arms. I did come in with a $2 million pledge. Well, so much, not a final commitment, but I think I have the support in Commissioner's Court. Went ahead and kind of forced the hand on the Heritage Museum. The county had appropriated $2 million so they could go ahead and work on the property that's on Grant and Santa Ursula. Right before I came in, met with the executive committee, and I guess they were asking for more money, and my position was to go ahead and address the concerns with the current budget so we could continue moving forward. Inflation kicked in before I came into office. Prices of cement went through the roof and steel, so it made things more difficult. We were the only precinct not to receive any monies, at least within the counties. So when I identified monies from savings on some ARPA projects that didn't go through, I went ahead and fought for the Heritage Veterans Museum. That came into light because I'm relocating the Veterans Service Center from Billy Hall Center, from the Justice Center down to this vacant building so we can go ahead and have a working collaboration between the workforce and the museum. Started working on a parking lot in front of the Heritage Museum. Kind of proud of that because, people, I feel, have the tendency of accepting the idea that the property had a lien, which it didn't, that it needed a retaining wall on the back, which it didn't. kind of forced the hand to go ahead and get it studied by an engineer. We discovered that, and we're moving forward. Heritage Museum is pushing for teen night movie theater where it draws in 300 kids. We just pledged $1.5 million so we could go ahead and attend to Casa Ortiz's decaying issues. And we're pushing forward. I'm hopeful that we start seeing everything come together, but at least for the most part, the idea is starting somewhere. And you know, if you guys have any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me or Councilwoman Cigarroa. We occasionally sit down and we reevaluate things from the traffic lights, that LC has as soon as you pass the Washington Bridge, and seeing that we have security cameras there, and maybe we could go ahead and bring the same concept for downtown. I am also a fireman with the city of Laredo, and I've represented this area for the last 15 years. The fire on 307, I was the one that went through the window to go ahead and extinguish it. It's the second time that I fight that fire. I had another incident another block away, fought a fire on Convent and Grant Street on a perfume store, and so I am vested in downtown. Any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'd just like to say on his behalf that he has, I've dealt with different commissioners throughout the years, and no one has really ever wanted to invest within the city, and I can vouch that he has, and he has a commitment to do that. So thank him on behalf of the city. Councilmember Cigarroa, would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tomas Aguirre. My son and I have a pharmacy downtown. We have a pharmacy downtown. Nobody knows about us. Very few people come downtown to go to see a pharmacist. We've been there 40 years. A lot of people have come and gone. There was 5 pharmacies downtown at one time. We're the only one left. In the 40 years that I've been downtown, I've seen so many things that I think should never have happened. We have a rich history. My family is originally from Zapata. In Zapata, Texas, they have a museum, a small museum, but if you want to know the history of Zapata in that area, you can go to the museum and they have a show, a little movie that runs about 20 minutes and tells you, the history of Zapata, which is incredible. They've gone through so many things because of the lake and all that. But not only do we have a pharmacy, we actually bought the same floor building, which, by the way, turns 100 years old this year. We have a small hotel called Alta Hotel. There's a lot of history in it. We've spent a lot of money trying to make it something that people in the world would be proud of. And nobody knows we're there. I ask kids all the time to come into the pharmacy and say, "Have you ever been in this building?" No, they haven't. And it's a lot of history that's there. And I just wanted to kind of give suggestions to what can we do? What can the city do to help us let our history be known? Just yesterday, I had a couple that stayed at the Rialto Hotel from New Zealand, Kiwis from New Zealand. And they were coming through because they were going to go to San Antonio to see the Alamo. And they asked me, what is there here that we can see? What history is here that we're going through the city, but what can we do? What can we see? And I love history, and I usually like to talk about history. I had a hard time trying to figure out What can I tell these people to do here in Laredo about our history before they go to San Antonio? And they say, yeah, we're going to go to San Antonio, we want to visit Fredericksburg. And I, you know, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what to tell them where to go. If we had a museum, and again, we need a little bit of foresight and cooperation with the city to try to do something about a museum downtown, a historical museum. I'm a history guy, a history buff. We have a building, the old Bender Hotel, which was built around the 1900s. It's a beautiful building. It's really have gone down a lot because it's made of lumber and it's not brick or anything like that. Well, maybe it is brick. But anyway, it belongs to the city. What can the city do? Can we have a museum there, a historical museum, to tell the story of the Huaraches and, all the history of, why Laredo, why Tomas Sanchez came to Laredo? That would be awesome for people that come to Laredo, want to know a little bit about Laredo. They could go in and again, that Bender Hotel would be an excellent place for a museum. They've talked about the federal building wanted to turn into a museum. I've heard that for about 10 years now, and I don't know what happened to that idea, but that, what can we do there? Can we make a museum there? The Mexican American Hall of Fame. The Mexican American Hall of Fame. Does that exist anywhere else? How long has that museum been? I know it's been a while. I don't know exactly how many years, but they have it every year. They don't have a place to go. They try to find a place to give away the prizes of inductees into the Mexican American Hall of Fame. That's very unique. That's something that Bender Hotel could be. One floor could be. But we need leadership from people here, from the city. I mean, can we not spend a little bit to make it a museum? Zapata did. They have a museum.
We have two. The Heritage Foundation has a
Heritage
view, and
Foundation.
then next to the Posada, I had people come over, like 20 people, and I rented one of those buses and I took them around, all these American people, and I impressed them by taking them to just so you know, La Posada, the Casa Ortiz. Then we went to the museum next door to the Posada, and we toured that, and then we walked over to the Heritage Foundation. I'm new here again, right there, so that's where I took them. And then, believe it or not, I took him over to Vegas for showing and that kind of stuff. But I have to ask you a question. I was just at your pharmacy. I'm so glad you have the pharmacy there. You do, I can't believe I asked the young girls there. I was just there right now. I don't know if you heard me. That I told her there was a meeting to come. I'm so glad your pharmacy is still there. And you need more support because it's wonderful, fully done. And
He did 50,000 COVID shots.
Yeah.
When people didn't want to do it.
I'm so glad you're there for all the people in the Hamilton. My brother, my old brother, my sister, they passed away. They were there. They depended on your pharmacy. And so I'm so glad in that restaurant that's there. But we need more of that. That is wonderful. I never met the owner. I always wanted to. I didn't know you were the owner. But I just left your shop and I talked to you there and I made you come.
Well, it belonged to the same owner before.
Yeah.
And wonderful building. Turned 100 years old.
Yeah.
But again, I'm really appalled at how you've been neglected, the downtown.
Exactly.
Another thing that I really want pet peeve, how do you get downtown when there's trains? And the train is every 15 minutes, every 20 minutes?
I come and I said, I hope I don't get the train whenever I do anything. And I know it passes around one-ish and then five-ish.
And that residential area in St. Peter's area, why doesn't that develop? It doesn't develop because people can't get to it.
I know. Which is another area that I was talking to Mr. Valdez. about that district is another one, that's the old St. Peter's area. You know, we have several districts in the red, you all know about the old St. Peter's area. That should be separate too and preserved, they're very nice, you know.
I'll ask the abandoned
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
I'll ask the abandoned list.
But
And
it's
built
still
beautiful,
homes.
beautiful homes.
And the plaza and everything.
And that-
then
that
we got the
place-
government district, we got government offices here, and then we got the downtown. And we just gotta divide it up and do something, the city, you know, willing to work with us, let's do something, let's
And
get people interested.
What Mr. Manning said.
Yeah, and his
There's-
idea, that's
there's-
what we did in Durham, I know, in North Carolina. Yeah.
Things are moving.
The
We just-
Plaza Theater was, I have asked Mr. Cigarroa many times, why the plaza, what happened to the money for the plaza, because I wanted to buy it, believe it or not, and restore it, because I love the Plaza Theater, and it became, they made it where, without changing the inside, I haven't been inside in years, but it was beautiful, right? Who remembers it, that deco, nobody remembers the Plaza Theater? It's still beautiful inside, I hope, they didn't take it off. With very little restoration, you could make it into a venue where you have dancing, and in North Carolina and Durham, my grandchildren, every Monday, they would have cantare, all this arts thing, and I took my kid every Monday to, you know, it was used for arts, whatever, piano lessons or whatever, and, you know, you can change things, and the Plaza Theater is gorgeous, it's right there waiting for us, and before it falls apart more, but I've been after the city for 2 years, and I moved here a year and a half to do something, because it would help all of us, right?
The city's gotta show us leadership
Something,
to
yeah.
get us there. Get us there.
We need a downtown, city to establish something downtown that will help us. And I'm sure there's some people here willing to at least give us ideas, right?
Thank you. The Salina Trust, I think, owns the vendor hotel, it's not the city of it. But that is a good idea, like the museum part. We can look at that, we have other facilities downtown. We can start looking at that. Appreciate the comment. Anyone else? I think I know Councilmember Cigarroa, I think we're gonna be able to say a couple of words?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, so my name is Cigarroa, I'm the representative for District 8, and I want to thank everybody here that made it out to downtown and sharing your thoughts. And I couldn't agree more with all of you. I completely agree with everything that you're saying, and I think again, there's always this sentiment of the fact that it's almost like a revolving door, that we have these meetings and a lot is said, and then there's not a lot of follow through. And we hope to change that, but it's not, I honestly believe that it's not going to happen without the effort of everybody. And when it comes to the city and the community, it's a relationship. If one party is working and really trying to make an effort and the other isn't, well, it's going to fail. It's like a marriage. And so it's really a partnership that we need to work on together, and that includes the city following through. I personally work side by side with a lot of the volunteers that are really trying to put a lot of effort into, and just within their time. They work throughout the day, and they do a lot of research, and they come to the table with informed and researched. And I don't disagree with them that they don't see an effort from the city, and so we as a city have to do a better job at partnering with a lot of people that are bringing their expertise, their time, and really, like as mentioned before, we need to value their time in a much better way. And so again, I agree with everything that's being said. I say it a lot of times myself, and again, I think it's and even within this group, there's differences, but everybody's right, and we all, and again, we do need to find a common ground and all swim in the same direction. And I think that there is a lot that is happening that goes either unsaid or unheard. And again, I want to thank Commissioner Jaime from the county's perspective too. They have stepped up their place within downtown and are moving projects forward. And again, when it comes to the TERS and the Business Improvement District, we need everybody's help. We need, and it goes for everybody. And did I turn that off? Okay, thank you. So anyway, all in all, I want to say thank you for being here. Please don't give up. We're all in this together, and we all want to see a thriving downtown, and I believe it's possible. And as mentioned before as well, I believe in the arts, and I believe that they can transform places, and that's what's happening right now. So please support these organizations that have events that are going on downtown. Be involved. Stay informed. Contact me. Come find me. I'll give you my number. And it's gonna take us all to really make a change in our city and our downtown. So thank you again. I don't know if anybody.
Thank you, Councilmember, for your comment. I want to thank everybody. Again, we value your time and we appreciate your comments, and we're going to take all this into consideration. We're recording so that we can review it and see how we can implement some of these recommendations in our ordinances. And then we'll have another meeting, follow up, and we'll let everyone know so you all can attend. We appreciate it. If you have comments that you want to write down or email us, that's the email. I think we have some cards up in the front. You can take those also. It has the email also. And so please feel free to email us. And again, we're going to review all of this information. Appreciate it. You'll have a great evening.
She has something to add.
Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Hello. Oh yeah. Sorry, I completely forgot to add. There was also the comment about our houseless friends. And so again, whether maybe this information hadn't reached the community or everybody across the community, but the city has partnered with Bethany House and has committed over $7 million. And just recently they opened the expansion to their facility. So maybe not everybody was aware, but Bethany House was never a 24-hour shelter. They are now a 24-hour shelter as part of their commitment and this partnership. And so I just wanted to share that because I think that this is an incredible moment in time that we should acknowledge and support. And there are some wins across downtown that have been accomplished. There's many more that we want to accomplish, and I'm here as a major advocate. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share that also. Thank you.
Thank you, and we appreciate your time. We'll be in contact. Thank you again. I want to thank our staff for putting this together. So, thank you.